Hi, this is Anand. In this clip, we will see how we can mass import risks at one time. Instead of going into the form and entering risks one after the other, which is quite time consuming, honestly speaking. It's actually a lot easier for us to just take a bulk of 100 risks at a time, get an Excel spreadsheet circulated among your team members, asynchronously get those inputs in, and then you have a final spreadsheet that you can just import. That way 100 or 200 risks go in at a time and everything is there. So I'm going to show you that pretty quickly here. First we'll log in as a project manager. This functionality is available for a project manager and a portfolio manager or a senior manager role as well. Team members don't have that access to do that right now. So for that we need to log in. This is the dashboard. We need to go into maintain risks menu, and then within that you have an import risk tab. So let's click on that, and then we need to choose a file. So I'll quickly show you what the template looks like. There is an area where you can import the risk template, and you can just choose the file from your local file system and then import it. The key before you do any import is to make sure the configurations are actually known, and I'm saying that because so many the configurations can be changed as per projects. So the import functionality should know what the configurations are for that project. So the drop downs in your Excel spreadsheet should be correct, and I'll explain it to you in a minute. The first thing we have to do for any import is to go into reports, project configuration, and you pick which project you want to look at. So for example, we want to look at number 500, and we view that report. That comes up in a nice PDF form. You can export this in whichever form you want, and this tells you what the configurations are for that particular project. So risk area, these are the valid values, and these are pretty much risk control, title, risk area. All the bolds are your column numbers, column names, and the rest below those are your values. So these are your configurations. For example, risk control title, or if you put anything else in that spreadsheet, if you're planning to import it into this particular project and you have a value other than this under your risk control title, it'll not work. So it'll give you a validation error. So it's good for you to just print this out first for any project you want, and then keep it in your hand, and then maybe configure your spreadsheet to make sure that these are the only valid values that go in, and then circulate it around and get feedback from your team members. So I have a sample here which I can quickly use. So let's do that, and I'll show you how data I've actually put in wrong data. Again, I'll open it for you to see. Here you go. So this is the spreadsheet, and you see the column titles, and then you see the values. So the ones in yellow I've highlighted are not the right numbers, or not the right values. So for example, if you look at impact title, so it's empty, so it will throw in an error. Risk area title, resources, I don't think there is anything called resources under risk area title. Let's look here, nothing called resources, so we are on the right track. So there are some things I have purposely put in so you can understand how the validation happens and the error that comes across. So I'm going to import this. So let's go back to maintain risks, import risk, and choose a file. I'm going to pick that particular file we just talked about and hit import. We'll give it a minute, and here are the validation values, and you see exactly what the problem is. So the error message here, I think it's very important for us to realize how important the error messages are, because again, if you have a row of 500 items and you import and something fails, you need to know where it failed, so you don't have to trace down cell by cell. The good thing about this import mechanism is that it is either all or nothing. So even if there is one particular cell that bombs out, the whole spreadsheet is rejected. So you're not worried about what's in, what's not, managing the deltas and all that stuff. So again, for example, this is the risk, this is the error ID here, bring that up, and you have the row number 3. So in Excel you have row number 3. Please enter this value for impact title. Okay, fair enough. I know what that means. I looked at the configuration sheet and I can figure out exactly what those numbers need to be. Row number 5, it's right here. It says please enter a value for risk area title resources. That means the resource is not a valid value. Similarly, row number 5, same thing. Risk control title is the column. World problem. There's nothing called world problem in the configuration area. So I'm going to pull up that configuration report quickly here and tell you what that means. So risk control title, there is nothing called world problem. So again, it needs to be one of these valid values so that the configurations and the import matches, so the tables can be populated accordingly. Again, pretty straightforward, but at the same time very, very important.